Clive breaks the glass and frees Elsa after the creature inside unexpectedly stings her hand. After that, he seals the creature up in the container and gives Elsa an epinephrine injection. After that, they move it to a different incubator in the experiment room. At the point when the following morning comes, Clive and Elsa quarrel over the animal prior to getting up to work. Clive demands that they dispose of it, yet Elsa is inflexible that they ought to proceed with their unique arrangement. They discover that the creature has grown and begun to print when they return to the facility to recheck it. This makes Clive frenzy and endeavor to gas it, however Elsa convince him to allow it to live and notice it. Clive joins Elsa in examining the creature because they have no other choice. The two of them eventually come to the conclusion that the creature is a hybrid that physically ages much faster than humans do. In addition, the body's ambystoma gene enables it to mature similarly to a human child. Even though it worries Clive, Elsa warns that it will also pass away quickly, so they must take advantage of the opportunity to observe its entire life cycle while it is still alive. Elsa spends her days at the facility working solely to observe the hydrant's growth and behavior after finally reaching an agreement. Subsequently, she frames a protective bond with her and starts condescending to her. She starts by telling her the best way to utilize the toys and afterward attempts to utilize the Scrabble letters to show her how to peruse the spelling words. Elsa, shocked by the acronym on her shirt, watches the hydrant spell nerd. Thus, Elsa names her Dee-Rien, which she switched from the word geek. Later, when Gavin tries to enter the experiment room to check on Clive and Elsa, who are fighting, he runs into Dee-Rien. Despite Clive's efforts to calm Gavin and persuade him not to tell anyone, he flees after witnessing it. Along these lines, Elsa chooses to conceal Dren away in the cellar. Subsequent to putting Dren down, Elsa acknowledges she has a fever and teaches Clive to track down a cure. Clive devises a panicked plan to attempt to lower Dren's temperature by placing her in a large cold sink. Despite Elsa's plea for her to be taken out, he keeps her submerged. It turns out that Dren is amphibious because Clive is forcing her to use her gills to breathe properly. The couple loses sight of their progress with Fred and Ginger as a result of their focus on Dren. The following day, the Neard Corporation shows Fred and Ginger at a public event so that people can see them marry. However, out of nowhere, Ginger suddenly changes into a male, and presently Fred and Ginger are killing one another. As a result, the couple begs Chera to allow them to recreate themselves. However, it is past the point of no return. Chera has already decided to stop using splicing and use other methods to keep looking for a gene that makes CD356. Clive and Gavin argue about Dren following the public presentation that was unsuccessful. Gavin recommends getting Dren out of the office since it won't be awkward for her, particularly for Barlow, who is assuming control over every last trace of the spot. Clive disagrees with Gavin's plan because he is concerned that Barlow will discover Elsa and Clive's secret. However, Clive does not know where to take Dren. Elsa mediates and lets them know that she knows where they can conceal Dren. Dren is sent to a farm by them and Clive quickly transports her there in a box. In the wake of stacking Dren into the vehicle, Elsa and Clive get in the driver's seat and begin coordinating the vehicle toward the property. The couple arrives late at night to help Dren overcome her fear of the dark. They walk alongside and guide her with extreme caution. Dren, on the other hand, continues to panic and quickly flees the barn where she is supposed to stay. Clive blames Elsa for being arrogant and believing she has everything under control as a result of this, asserting that the disaster about which everyone has been warning is the direct result of her actions. Elsa tries to calm him down and prefers to concentrate on finding Dren in the forest. Clive is reassured by her that Dren will not leave them, so there is no need to be concerned. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by Dren's whimpers. Following Dren's voice, the couple remains silent, and Elsa leads the way to locate her. They discover in a matter of seconds that Dren is currently ingesting the raw flesh of a rabbit that she has likely killed. In the wake of trusting that Dren will complete her feast, Elsa faces her most memorable about what she did before. Advance noticed Dren not to run off once more. Sometime later, Clive and Elsa move into the farmhouse with Dren to use whatever remains of the evening. Clive checks with Elsa to make sure she is okay with spending the night in the house where she and her now deceased mother spent their childhood before they enter. As a result, Elsa assures him that she has moved on and that he need not be concerned. When Clive and Elsa got up the next day to go to work, they found Barlow waiting for them to learn how to extract proteins from the verminiform creatures. Because their employer rejected their proposal for even suggesting the use of human DNA, splice masters, also known as geneticists, were forced to perform secret experiments on a hybrid species. Their diligent effort takes care of when they effectively make an animal with godlike knowledge and strength. But what happens if their experimented creature grows too fast and becomes dangerous? Let's look in the movie for the answer. Cleve Nicoli and Elsa Kost, two genetic engineers, created the vermiform creature, the second hybrid species, successfully in the laboratory. Clive asks for scissors to cut the umbilical cord once they see that its vital signs are stable. However, Elsa experiences a sudden panic when she observes from the EKG that the vermi-like creature's blood pressure is rapidly falling. In addition, its aspirations are irregular, slow, and shallow. Gavin Nicoli, Clive's brother, comes in to check on the vermiform and finds that it is in VTAC. So Elsa requested to have some dopamine infused into the animal, and afterward, she allows Clive to utilize the ore to resurrect it. Fortunately, the vermi structure's pulse settles and no actual oddities are found, providing the couple with the delight of having made another wonderful vermi structure posterity. The vermi structure is then moved to an alternate region of the research facility, where the primary example is as yet resting. It would appear that the genetic engineering couple is carrying out this experiment with the intention of gaining recognition and assisting nuclear exchange research and development, or NER, in its efforts to advance medical research. They intend to take advantage of creature DNA grafting to deliver vermi structure animals needing to get their names out there. In the first Jinger, Elsa suggests naming the second vermiform Fred. After that, she grabs the camera and films Clive, who is in charge of moving Fred from the incubator into the tank, where he will be mated with Jinger. Elsa and Clive, as well as everyone else in the room, wait patiently as Fred and Jinger become partners. Clive turns to Elsa to find out what is going on because he is perplexed to see Fred and Jinger walking toward one another. As per Elsa, they are starting to engrave in light of unexplainable adoration. Elsa, Clive, and their supervisor, Barlow, travel to the Newstead Pharma facility the following day. They intend to meet with the Naird CEO, Joan Tora, to talk about their unexpected proposal. Elsa talks about the lab's 3-year history inside, when they successfully merged the DNA of multiple species to create a new type of life. From that point forward, Clive gives some setting by making sense of that Ginger, their most memorable type of structure critter, has performed beyond anything anyone could ever imagine as far as creating restorative proteins for creatures. However, the part where Elsa informs Cherith that she and Clive have improved their human DNA splicing technology since Fred was born is the most intriguing. This indicates that using the splicing procedure on even the most advanced species, researchers may be able to develop a novel human-animal hybrid. In any case, Cherith and Barlow don't appear to concur with the couple's idea, despite the fact that they are exceptionally satisfied with the advancement they have accomplished up to this point. As a result, Clive tries to elaborate, stating that by incorporating human DNA into the hybrid template, they might be able to treat a wide range of genetic diseases. Sherritt responds that the board as a whole eventually becomes impatient to move on to phase 2, the production phase. Because Ginger and Fred's development has led them to believe that their magic protein is unsafe, she suggests that it is necessary to isolate the gene that is responsible for its production. Furthermore, the grafting offices where Clive and Elsa work should close. From that point forward, Clive gives some setting by making sense of that Ginger, their most memorable type of structure critter, has performed beyond anything anyone could ever imagine as far as creating restorative proteins for creatures. However, the part where Elsa informs Cherith that she and Clive have improved their human DNA splicing technology since Fred was born is the most intriguing. This indicates that using the splicing procedure on even the most advanced species, researchers may be able to develop a novel human-animal hybrid. In any case, Cherith and Barlow don't appear to concur with the couple's idea, despite the fact that they are exceptionally satisfied with the advancement they have accomplished up to this point. As a result, Clive tries to elaborate, stating that by incorporating human DNA into the hybrid template, they might be able to treat a wide range of genetic diseases. Sherritt responds that the board as a whole eventually becomes impatient to move on to phase 2, the production phase. Because Ginger and Fred's development has led them to believe that their magic protein is unsafe, she suggests that it is necessary to isolate the gene that is responsible for its production. Furthermore, the grafting offices where Clive and Elsa work should close. Sherritt will upgrade their laboratory and renovate their building in preparation for extensive chemical analysis. This merely indicates that Clive and Elsa will no longer be working on splicing animal DNA. Despite the fact that Elsa argues to allow them an opportunity, Sherritt is uncompromising with her decision and brings up that their venture may not prove to be fruitful for an additional 20 years. Elsa becomes enraged after the meeting has ended because they did not have permission to proceed with their proposed project. Since New York City is the main organization that can give the protein she wants, she chooses to seek after their arrangements in confidential with Clive. The following morning, the pair gets up really right on time to start the most common way of making a female juvenile animal that can get by all alone. Clive monitors the process, but Elsa is in charge of finding a female donor for the DNA. After their first attempt at a human-animal hybrid splice fails, they decide to give it another shot. Be that as it may, the PC screen actually shows the fruitless after effect of their investigation. Clive, in an attack of Pinnacle, lays the fault on the music and unexpectedly changes to a more favorable style with the goal that they can finish some work. Fortunately, he is right. After hearing music, Elsa realizes the problem and suggests a solution. After a few endeavors, Clive and Elsa celebrate in the wake of seeing the PC screen showing the effective improvement of a human creature half-breed graft. Elsa decides on the spur of the moment to use the biochemical incubator to clone the developing organism in a way that resembles a human. Elsa reassures Clive that she is simply interested in learning whether or not they are able to create a viable embryo, which calms his fears that they would end up in jail. Clive accepts Elsa's proposal despite his reservations and turns on the incubator, beginning the process of cloning humans. They observe the creature for many days, and Elsa eventually offers to stay with it until Clive returns to work so that their co-workers are not misled. Later around evening time, Clive and Elsa are having a rest at their condo when unexpectedly, Clive gets a call that the hatchery is at last getting ready for life structures. The couple rushes to the facility to relieve some of the pressure as the incubator begins to spiral out of control. At the point when the machine neglects to eliminate the thing, Elsa encourages staying her hand inside it to physically eliminate it.